Good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of high school basketball with the Bethany Christian Bruins. Tonight from Buller Court on the campus of Bethany Christian Schools in Goshen, Indiana, the Bruins look for their 11th win of the season as they look to move to 11-4 and extend this winning streak to 6 games, newly ranked at number 9 in the state in the Class 1A poll, as they take on a team with a not-so-great record, but a much stronger strength of schedule. The Wawasee Warriors, 5-9 overall, 1-3 in the Northern Lakes Conference. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tony Miller with you from high above courtside, up in the east end zone, looking out from the mezzanine at Buller Court this evening as the team has come back out onto the floor, having gotten final instructions in the locker room, and we are 3 minutes and change away from the 15th game of the season for both of these ball clubs. It's the 8th meeting all time between Bethany and Wawasee. The Warriors have won each of the first 7. They won by 10 points last year, 58-48 down in the hardwood teepee in Syracuse. They will be favored by about that much tonight. I think both of these teams have just one common opponent, that's West Noble, but the Warriors took the Chargers to overtime and the Bruins kind of got pantsed by the Chargers, 61-40, back on Thanksgiving weekend here on Buller Court. The Bruins' opponent's record is 101-67, so in that sense it does look like a positive thing on the strength of schedule for the Bruins, but I'm looking at their schedule and they've played, let's see, Triton's 1A, Lakeland Christian's 1A, Traders Point Christian's 1A, Faith Christian, Lakeland Christian, Argus all 1A, Hamilton is 1A, and Clinton Christian's not even in the IHSAA, where Wawasee has played just one 1A school, Trinity Greenlawn. Their last 3 games are Homestead, Mishawaka, and Plymouth, all of them in Class 4A, the latter 2 in the Northern Lakes Conference, where Wawasee got off the schneid with a 55-40 win over Plymouth at the weekend. Both of these teams are coached by Goshen natives. John Everingham graduated from Goshen High School in 1994. He was a sophomore on their 1992 sectional championship team. That team actually beat Bethany 48-32 on March 3rd of that year. It'll be 31 years ago. It'll be 31 years ago in a couple of months. It's still the only meeting between the two high schools in the city of Goshen. Daniel Mast also won a sectional sophomore. That was in 2004, and I don't believe he was on the varsity roster, but he was definitely in the program as the Bruins picked up their third, I'm trying to think. No, Bethany didn't win sectional in 04, did they? No, they didn't. It was 98, 2000, and 2002. I wrote a historical note that has no basis in fact. That's not a good place to start tonight. Now we are winding down the final minute before the tip-off, so just taking a look at some of the Bruin scoring leaders. Wawasee is one of these teams that treats its stat like some sort of state secret, and it was very difficult to find information on the Warriors going into this game, but the Bruins led in scoring by Tyson Schupp at 19.3 points per game. He's got 845 points for his career, which ranks 9th in school history, and he's got 9 games to go, at least in his junior season. Then, so he's 14 points short of Saul Brenneman for 8th place in school history. Then he'd have another close to 50 points to go before he starts catching up to Larry Krylo, Tom Lance, and Jordan Buller, all of whom in the 900 range. 8.6 points a game for Jacoby Reinhardt for the Bruins. He's a sophomore. Jaden Schleybaugh at 8.9 points a game in his junior season. On the rebounding front, it's Reinhardt leading the way at 5.5, then 4.9 rebounds a game for Chupp, 3 for Justin Hostetler. Chupp also an 88% shooter at the free throw line, a 42% shooter from long range, and he is 5 3-pointers away from tying Jordan Buller for 3rd in school history in dialing long distance. Now we will take a look at our starting lineups, which have been sent up to us from the scorers table. Colin Ziebart, the 6'1 junior. Miles Everingham, a 6'1 sophomore. Peyton Felgert, a 6-foot senior. Maddox Everingham, who's Miles' twin, a 6-foot sophomore. And Colin Roberson, a 6'5 senior. For the Warriors, who are coached by John Hamberingham. Again, 5-9 overall, 1-3 in the Northern Lakes Conference. The Bruins will start with the starting 5 that you are very used to seeing if you have been with us all year here on BruinsVision. Tyson Schupp, a a 6-foot senior at 19.3 points per game. Carter Miller, a 5'10 junior, 5.7 points per game. Jaden Schleybaugh, 5'9 junior, 8.9 points per game. Jacoby Reinhardt at the 4 spot. Reinhardt, a 6'3 sophomore, 8.6 points per game. And Justin Hostetler, the 6'3 junior, 3.6 points per game. Also third on the team with 3 rebounds per 32 minutes. As the Bruins take the floor, we'll get the spotlight off, turn the lights back on here, and we'll get ready to go tonight for this non-conference matchup on Buller Court. Wawasee in the traveling black uniforms. They've got gray numerals trimmed in gold, which is one of those things I'm absolutely going to end up complaining about at some point tonight. The level of contrast between the uniform number and the jersey itself for Wawasee. The Bruins in their home white, silver numerals trimmed in blue. That's not great on the contrast front either, but away we go tonight here on Buller Court. Wawasee wins the tip, so the Bruins will get the basketball next on the alternating arrow. Wawasee comes into it set, going right to left on your streaming device. Dribbling into the lane, that's Colin Roberson. Out for a three-point try that's knocked down for Wawasee by Colin Zebarth. The 6'1 junior dials long distance for the first bucket of the night. Wawasee 3, Bethany nothing. Bruins with the basketball for the first time. Half a minute gone in the first quarter. Reinhardt back out to Chupp on the left side wing. Skips it right side. That's Schleybaugh getting the ball back from Miller. Now Reinhardt's in the corner. Hostetler the only one inside. Chupp skips it back into the corner. Miller's 3 on the way. That's an air ball. Reinhardt gets the rebound, puts it in. Reinhardt with his first bucket of the game. Again, he comes in at 8.6 points per game, so he's a little about short of a quarter of the way there as we work through the first minute of regulation. Wawasee gets the basketball on its end of the floor. Maddox Everingham, number 34, gives it to Colin Roberson, who is on the left side wing. Now a drive and a layup, and that's good as well from Zebarth once again. He's got all 5 points for Wawasee. And the Warriors lead by 3 at 5-2. Schleybaugh pulls up on the left side wing. Here's Chupp driving, running into a defender, left the shot short, anticipating the contact from Zebarth. Rebound taken by Wawasee, and Everingham comes up the floor. Ball comes back out to Roberson in the free throw circle, getting a hand on it and knocking it out of bounds with Schleybaugh, and it'll stay with the Warriors with 6:25 remaining in the first quarter. Inbound pass comes in for a three-point try from Maddox Everingham, and that split the iron with the accuracy of one of Greg Maddox's fastballs. 8-2 Wawasee. They've dialed long distance twice in the first couple of minutes. Here's Chupp on the right side wing, going over to Schleybaugh. And Chupp's going to drive from the right side wing, so I'll hold off on that thought. Bounce pass goes underneath, and Schleybaugh will take it from the left side wing. He's out on the perimeter. Here's Miller in the corner. Bounce pass underneath to Reinhardt over a double team. Back out over the head of Hostetler to Chupp, who will go for it from the parking lot and miss the 3 long. Offensive rebound to Hostetler. He gets the putback to go. We've got a timeout on the floor with 5:43 to go in the first period. This one's a 30-second timeout, and because we've got a timeout, I'll remind you, the Bruin boys are in action Thursday night here on BruinsVision as they take on Elkhart Christian. That'll be a 6 p.m. JV tip-off. Pregame coverage coming your way at 5:57. The varsity game following about 7:30 here on BruinsVision.net. Or however you found to get here tonight, do it again on Thursday for a Hoosier Plains Conference showdown between the two parochial schools in Elkhart County. Was starting to observe as Bethany worked the ball around the perimeter, and Wawasee hit a couple of threes on its second and third trips down the floor, I should say, that I think Bethany can deal with Wawasee shooting or Wawasee rebounding, but if Wawasee gets the edge in both, it's going to be a long night for the Bruins in white and blue. Teams are on the floor, and Wawasee will bring a full 84 feet off the made basket. Backcourt of Colin Zebarth, number 10, and Miles Everingham, number 12. Peyton Felgertz, number 22. That ball goes over to the right side wing there, and the next man in the numerical rundown is Maddox Everingham. His floater is short. Chupp tapped the rebound out and grabbed it himself. Now Chupp tried to cross over, and he's going to be fouled as he goes up the left side sideline. First foul of the game is on Wawasee. Felgert's first personal, team foul number 1. Fresh possession for the Bruins. If you were with us last night for the girls' game, you saw that Bethany wasn't so much they had trouble breaking the press, but they would break the press and then slow down and let the defense get back in front of them. Here there is nobody in front of Z-Barth. He knocks down a 3 for his 8th point of the night already with less than 3 minutes gone. It's Wawasee 11, Bethany 4. Miller gets the ball up ahead to Chupp. He dumps it back to Miller on the volleyball 10-foot line. Chupp, left side wing, works underneath. He's got Schleybaugh out on the Boulder Court monogram. Miller at the point goes to Chupp on the left side wing. Chupp skips to Schleybaugh right side. Jaden goes up for a 3 and leaves it short. Rebound taken by number 50, Colin Roberson. There was just nobody over there for the Bruins, who are in danger of falling behind on by double digits if Wawasee hits another 3 on this possession. This is Everingham out on the right side wing. They will go, that shot blocked by Reinhardt on the attempt from Z-Barth. Rebound comes to Hostetler, and the Bruins will race the other way. Bounce pass goes into the corner. Here's Hostetler with the contact underneath, and a blocking foul called on Wawasee. Felgert picks up his second personal, team foul number 2. We're going to see a couple of free throws, which is why the sub can't come in yet. Hostetler will go to the free throw line. The big man, a 59% free throw shooter this year, and he rattles home the first. As we're going to see number 42, Mason Shoemaker, number 43, Darius Lewis into the game for Wawasee. They've got both a 42 and a 43 on their roster. Hostetler's second free throw on the way, good. Back iron and in and out and up off the glass and through. So Hostetler's got 4 of Bethany's 6. Bruins are within 5, 14 seconds short of the midway point of the first quarter. Wawasee gets the ball over to the left side wing. That's Z-Barth underneath to Lewis. Had it stripped by Schleybaugh, but the Warriors are able to get it back. They go over to the left side wing. Now back out for a 3 from Miles Everingham. That's off the far side of the iron. Run down in the quarter. They save the ball, but it's directly to Tyson Chupp. Chupp gets around his defender, brings the Bruins into the forecourt. They don't have numbers, so he slows things down. Back out around the perimeter. Schleybaugh gives the ball to Miller. Into the corner. The lob goes underneath to Hostetler on the entry pass. Hostetler back out into the corner. They're going to try and work it through. Reinhardt from the short corner. Jumper good. Reinhardt with the first jumper of the game for the Bruins. Everything else had been either free throws or a putback off a missed shot. We've got the assist for Chupp. It's his first of the game, as Wawasee answers on the other end with the bucket from Z-Barth. Got him with 10, which matches his uniform number, as the Wawasee lead is 5. Schleybaugh took a long time to get that ball across the timeline. Now Chupp with the jumper on the left side wing. He goes down after the fact with some contact, as the Bruins get within 3 at 13-10. Z-Barth across the timeline for Wawasee. 3 minutes to go, first quarter. Dribbling into the lane, they go left side for a 3. This one is off the strong side of the iron. Lewis is in there for the rebound, almost knocked the ball out of bounds. Chupp saved it back in, and Hostetler grabs it, the loose ball, and now Bethany can tie with a 3 on this trip. Schleybaugh up the floor on the right side wing. Miller's got it over to Reinhardt in the corner. Reinhardt back to Miller. 2:38 left in the period. Chupp with a long 2. He was inside the arc. The shot is true. Chupp on a personal 4-0 run. Bethany within 1 at 13-12. Coming across the timeline, it's Everingham for Wawasee. That's Miles Everingham, number 12, not Maddox, number 34. Everingham backs the ball off to the left side. Z-Barth's going to drive baseline, and Schleybaugh over-pursued him out to the perimeter. And if my math is right, Z-Barth has 12 already. So it's another 3-point Wawasee lead, 15-12. Bruins will go to the table to sub at the next opportunity. Here is Miller giving the ball to Schleybaugh. Now Chupp out on the left side wing as we tick under the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Chupp comes back to the point, hands the ball off to Reinhardt. They reverse it to Miller. Here's Schleybaugh going into the corner for Chupp. Bounce pass underneath to Reinhardt in the lane. Back to Miller, left side wing 3. Too strong. Rebound taken away by Wawasee. Got a number there, 34, Maddox Everingham. Pass goes into the corner on the other end. Wawasee will drive baseline, and we've got a bumping foul called on Schleybaugh. Not the strongest foul we've ever seen, but yeah, probably an infraction on the Bruin guard. And Bethany will put a couple of its subs in. Really, it's only two other members of the rotation, as Jesse Bontrager and James Lind comes in for Jaden Schleybaugh and Carter Miller. Wawasee also had a sub go in there as the inbound pass is stolen by Bontrager, making his presence known right off the bat. Schupp will bring the Bruins up the floor. Here's Bontrager giving it to Lind, left side corner. Bontrager back out to, or was the intended recipient of the Lind pass, who he had it stolen. Then Schupp strips the ball on the way up, and it's out of bounds off Wawasee. 15-12, Bruins trail by 3 with 80 seconds to go, first quarter. Schupp's next point will take him over 850 for his career. Basic math tells me that's 85% of the way to 1,000. Bontrager dribbles all the way around the wing, goes into the corner, looks for the ball back. Instead, they're going to get it to Schupp on the right side wing. Schupp has it knocked away. He tried to draw the foul and wasn't successful. Coming up the right side sideline is Zebarth for Wawasee. Zebarth back out to number 42, Mason Shoemaker. That was the substitution a moment ago. As Wawasee may be in the position of holding for the final shot. If you were with us for the JV game, we noted that Mike Sorrell, the longtime Goshen coach, was known for a deliberate offense, games more in the 40s than in the 60s, as the three-point shot is up and too strong. Lewis was blocked out by Hostetler, but Lynn got a hand on the ball before it went out of bounds, so it'll stay with Wawasee. Anyway, I bring that up because Everingham played for Goshen when they won their only sectional title, or their most recent sectional title, back in 1992. And we're going to get a Wawasee substitution here. And I see the player, but he's standing at a 90-degree angle to me. I think that's Weston Hoffert, the 5'8 junior. As the number on his back, number 22, Peyton Felgert, back into the game with two personals. Flashing out to the top of the circle, Warriors have the basketball with 16 seconds to go. This is Everingham going to the left, handing off, and Everingham coming back to the right because there are two of them. Miles, number 12, goes to the left once more. Handoff and a runner into the lane leads to a layup with 6 seconds to go. And Bethany will have time for one last shot. Bontrager's three-quarter court heave hits back iron. Pretty close, but, not good enough. So we have 8 minutes down and 24 to go. At the end of 8 minutes, Wawasee leads Bethany 17-12. You're watching Bruins Vision, and we'll be back here Thursday night as the Bruin boys take on Elkhart Christian. And we will, let's see, that would make more sense. We've got the JV pregame for you Thursday night at 5:58. Varsity follows that game at about 7:15, as we have Bethany's last HPC home game of the season for you Thursday night on Bruins Vision against Elkhart Christian. Bruin basketball as we start the second quarter. Wawasee the first to break the huddle. I've got number 20 Weston Hoffert, number 10 Colin Zebarth, number 43 is Darius Lewis, number 50 is Colin Roberson, who's the biggest man on the roster at 6'5", and it shows, and Dallas Miller, the 6'3 sophomore. No, strike that. Maddox Everingham, the 6-foot sophomore. It's 34, not 24. Bruins counter with Schupp, Schleybaugh, Bontrager, Reinhardt, and Miller. This is Reinhardt over in the corner. His pass across the perimeter is deflected out of bounds. They're going to say it hit the Bruins last. Bruins are not being as tentative as we saw in the girls' game last night, where Fairfield jumped out to the first 17 points of the game, but Bethany does feel like it's back on its heels, waiting for things to happen as opposed to being out and making things happen like we've seen when they've been hot this year. Lewis is the conduit that gets the ball over to the left side for Wawasee. Now they go back to the right side wing. This is Lewis with the basketball. He's defended by Bontrager, who's fairly active with the hands. Out behind the top of the circle, this is Zebarth. Defended by Schleybaugh with 7:20 to go, second quarter. He works to his right, handing off and coming back to the top of the key is Everingham. He fakes one way, goes up to the right. Shot's no good. Schupp has the rebound, his second of the game. Pass out ahead to Miller, who is fouled on his drive to the rack, and I think he's going to get free throws out of the opportunity. Foul is on the floor before the shot, so never mind that part. Weston Hoffert picks up his first personal. Team foul number 3 on Wawasee. Miles Everingham back into the game for the Warriors as the Bruins will get a fresh possession down here in front of our broadcast position. Shupp drives left side of the lane, stops on the elbow, goes up and has his shot sent back from whence it came by Roberson. Roberson takes it coast to coast himself, misses his own shot, gets the rebound back and doesn't miss a second time. 19-12, Wawasee out in front as Roberson is a large dude out there, and it has showed a couple of times. He's been hard to get around and hard to clear out to get the rebound. Bruins trail by 7, 19-12. Schleybaugh throws the ball into the right side corner. Now a baseline drive and a skip to Bontrager, left side 3, good. Jesse in the book for the first time tonight. That gets the Bruins back within 4 at 19-15. Everingham brings the ball up the floor for Wawasee. Stops on the volleyball 10-foot line, working to his right. Bruins will go back to the bench on the next whistle. I see Lyndon Hostettler there to check in, as this is Everingham working to the left side corner. Coming back to the top of the circle and working over to the right side wing. Everingham goes back to the left side. 5:56 to go, second quarter. There's a dribble back toward the point. Now a handoff into the corner, and Schleybaugh's over there playing defense, getting all up in the grill of the Warriors defense. Chupp knocks the ball away. Now we're going to get a tie ball that will keep it with Wawasee. And the Bruins will go to the bench. Bontrager is out and Reinhardt is out as Lind and Hostettler check in. And who else do we have going in there for Wawasee? I see and Peyton Felger checks in for Wawasee. I thought there was a sub before that, though. It'll be Warrior basketball as the alternating arrow flips back to Bethany the next time it's needed. Driving down the lane here is Everingham. He turns and fires and scores. Miles Everingham with 6 points. And Wawasee is up 6 at 21-15 with 5:28 to go first half. Hostettler in the free throw circle, hands off to Carter Miller. Miller out to Chupp on the left side wing. Tyson dribbles into the free throw circle, crosses over behind his back, goes up with the right hand and scores. Chupp with 6 points tonight. Bethany within 4, 21-17. Top of the circle, it's Everingham going over to the left side. They thought about a three from over there, then thought better of it. Going up with the three is Felger, and he knocks it down. Wawasee's fourth triple of the night, and if they keep that up, I think it's going to be hard for Bethany to come back if Wawasee keeps hitting threes. We've got a foul on the Bruins on the offensive side of the ball. Did Hostettler... No, we've got a Wawasee foul on Roberson with the forearm, as we will get Wawasee substitutions, Zebarth back in the game and Shoemaker back in the game. Fresh possession for the Bruins, but just to finish that thought, one of the ways that Bethany can get back in the game involves, going possession for possession and matching score for score, but outdoing the number of the score as Schleybaugh misses a three. Well, when you give up three on the defensive end, the best you can do is match that on your next possession. As Wawasee pulls the trigger and misses, long rebound comes out for Everingham. Miller runs into him. Schleybaugh goes up the floor with the basketball. Bethany with a brief 5-on-4 as Everingham late to rejoin the play, and Carter Miller drains a three to get the margin back within 4, 24-20. 4:22 to go, second stanza. Out between the circles is Everingham, number 12 for Wawasee. Pulling up in the lane is Zebarth. His shot was altered by Schleybaugh, but it's going to work out as a path into the lane. Up at the top of the circle, Zebarth drives around Schleybaugh, runs into a triple team, turns around, shoots, and misses. Rebound to Chupp. And he'll come back up the floor for the Bruins. Bruins could technically tie the game on this trip with a 4-point play. Those are not easy. That's why they're notable. Here's Schleybaugh on the right side wing, handing off to Miller. Miller gives it back to Chupp as he works back laterally to the right. Chupp gives the ball to Miller. Now Schleybaugh left side wing way up top. 3:44 to go, second quarter. Chupp in the left side slot. He's got defenders with hands all over him. Bounce pass goes into the corner. Lind gets around the defender and lays it up and in. James Lind with the golden point. He had a career high on Saturday against Wawasee. I mean, it was a career high 3, which is not super mathematically impressive, but given that Lind is in there to be the team's sanitation engineer and do everything else, scoring is a bonus. Long rebound to the layup, stays with the Warriors. They go out to the right side wing, now cross back to the left. This is Zebarth, defended loosely by Schlebaugh with 3:10 to go. Zebarth stops and pops from 15, misses it off the back iron. Rebound kept alive by Roberson. Now a drive back underneath, and we're going to get a foul on, I think, on Hostetler. As there is a... Yeah, it is on Hostetler, number 44. His first, team's second. And that's going to lead to free throws for Wawasee. Bruins are 2 for 2 at the line, which came from Hostetler. Now Zebarth's going to try and double the Wawasee lead. 24-22 here with 3:03 to go, second quarter. First free throw was up and good, and I believe somebody in the student section just yelled, "Will you marry me?" which is, well, it's worth a shot. It didn't keep the free throw from going in. Second free throw on the way from Zebarth as Reinhardt replaces Lind, and the free throw is good. Both teams 2 for 2 at the line. Roberson checks in for Wawasee. He's the big number 50. We've got some discussion about the play call. Got to get Daniel Mast off the court. He's walking down the sideline about 3 feet in bounds. And now Schlebaugh will bring the ball up the floor for the Bruins. He stops in backcourt so as not to get trapped against the timeline. Miller gives the ball to Chupp out in the center jump circle. Bethany trails by 4. They've never led because Wawasee scored on the opening possession of the game. And the foul goes against Hoffert. I'm sorry, number 10, Colin Zebarth. Got the wrong number that ends in a 0 there. Colin Zebarth picks up his second personal. And it's a fresh possession for the Bruins. Schlebaugh dribbled the ball off a Wawasee player's foot. Then it was dribbled out of bounds off of his own foot by Maddox Everingham, and it'll go back to the Bruins. So dueling turnovers create a fresh possession for Bethany at the timeline. Carter Miller walks the ball through the center jump circle. This is Hostetler holding in the free throw circle. One thing he's good at doing is holding the ball and using his body to shield the defenders from getting to him. Schlebaugh, left side wing 3, off front iron, in for the rebound Roberson. Bruins could have cut the lead to 1 on that possession. Instead, they didn't. 2:18 to go, second quarter, 26-22. As the ball comes over here to the left side wing, and Wawasee will try to reset. Roberson gives it out to Felgert, number 22. Now is Everingham getting a screen coming down the right side of the lane. Top of the circle with the basketball. That's Maddox Everingham. As they come out, and they're going to dribble, says the student section, who I think would like them to get things going a little bit faster. There's thought of a three-point try. Now another thought of a three-point try and a lane drive from Miles Everingham. They go over into the corner. Back into the lane is Zebarth. And I wish I had an answer for what the time this possession started was. As we're going to get a holding foul on Hostetler. His second personal, team foul number 3, and Jesse Bontrager will come into the game. That'll take Hostetler out with 2 fouls and 93 seconds to go in the half. Fresh possession for the Warriors as Everingham works out between the circles. He goes over to the left side wing, and they're going to enter it inside. They have Bontrager down there in the low post. Chupp came out with the steal, then he lost the basketball trying to cross over. Picked it up again, and timeout taken by Bethany with 1:18 to go in the quarter. Bethany had the alternating arrow, so the ball would have stayed with them regardless. But the 30-second timeout ensures that Bethany keeps the arrow the next time it is needed. So the 30-second timeout means that we remind you that we're back here on BruinsVision Thursday night for Bethany's next home game. That is against Elkhart Christian in a Hoosier Plains Conference showdown. And we'll have the JV pregame for you at 5:58. Varsity following about 7:15 That is Tuesday night on BruinsVision. It's going to be Bethany ball about 6 feet into the backcourt, as the Bruins come onto the floor with no Hostetler thanks to the foul trouble. So it's Schupp, Schleybaugh, Miller, Bontrager, and Reinhardt. Fairly small lineup for the Bruins. But any lineup without Hostetler is going to be fairly small. Unless they put Kyle Boyer in, and he's not been getting rotation minutes. 6'5" junior. Maddox Everingham not close enough to start the closely guarded count on Tyson Schupp as we were ticked down toward a minute to go in the second quarter. And Schupp is just going to keep dribbling and wait. Everingham out at the top of the circle, not getting close enough to him to start that 5-second count, not getting far enough away from him to let the Bruins get something set. Now coming out and joining him up top is Felgert. Schupp goes over to Bontrager right side wing. Schupp gets the ball back. He's going to hold with 38 seconds and counting to go in the second quarter. If you want an advertisement for a shot clock in Indiana high school basketball, this game is, it. I would argue that it's going to be important for the Bruins not to fall behind very far in this game because Wawasee can slow things down well enough to ensure that you don't have the requisite number of possessions to come back. Schupp is holding out on the perimeter, 15 seconds to go in the quarter. He moves over to the center jump circle with 11 to go. Drives left side. Miller in the corner. Three-point try on the way is much too strong. Rebound going to be tapped out near midcourt. Schupp's got the ball. Throws it right side corner. Schleybaugh three far side iron no good. And the rebound is taken by Zebarth as the second quarter comes to a close. So we will take a look at our unofficial halftime scoring here for Wawasee and also for the Bruins. Let's first report that it's 26-22 and get that written down in all of the appropriate places in the book. And it was 17-12 at the quarter, so the Bruins did win the second stanza by a point, but that's not going to be enough to get them back in the game. For the Bruins, Tyson Schupp has 6 points, Carter Miller 3, Jesse Bontrager 3, James Lind 2, Jacoby Reinhardt 4, Justin Hostetler 4. On the Wawasee side of the ledger, I've got Colin Zebarth with 12, Miles Everingham with 6, Peyton Felgert with 3, Maddox Everingham with 3, Colin Roberson with 2. For Wawasee, 12 in the first quarter, 17 in the first quarter and 9 in the second is a total of 26. For Bethany, it was 12 in the first quarter and 10 in the second for a total of 22. As the Bruins, I think, went 3 minutes or so without scoring late in the second quarter. Of course, a couple of very long possessions made that easier to do. So with that in mind, we'll step aside. You can watch the halftime shootout playing out on your screen, or, go get a snack, go to the bathroom. Don't do those two things at the same time. That'd be gross. But just promise to patronize our sponsors and promise me you'll be back in about 8 minutes for the start of the second half. 16 minutes down, 16 to go. Wawasee 26, Bethany 22. Welcome back to Buller Court on the campus of Bethany Christian Schools in Goshen, Indiana, where it's halftime and the Bethany Christian Bruins, newly ranked in Class 1A at number 9 in the state in the Associated Press poll, are trailing. Of course, they are trailing a team that's 2 enrollment classes larger than them, and the computerized Sagarin ratings say that Wawasee should win this game by 8 to 10 points, which would be, well, half of that would be 4 now, wouldn't it? But it is Wawasee 26, Bethany 22 at the intermission, and I have to think that Wawasee Bethany is at the point of mind that they can do just about everything better. They can shoot better, they can rebound better, they can defend better, they can control the ball better. I'm not sure they have to do every one of those things better to get back in the game, but clearly what they did in the first half was a few points short of getting the job done, and that is why they are down 26-22 at the intermission. So there's the second horn. The Bruins will break the huddle and come back onto the floor. Teams will switch sides as we go the Bruins will go from right to left on your streaming device to start the third stanza and to end the third stanza. Wawasee will go from left to right and finish over here in front of our broadcast position. Schupp and Schleybaugh in backcourt for the Bruins, and that's an inauspicious beginning as Schupp let the ball go, then got the block, and we're going to get a foul coming up behind him on Miles Everingham. It's his first personal, team foul number 1. I think Wawasee wanted a foul called on Schupp's block, but dueling turnovers in the first 5 seconds. Carter Miller will trigger the inbound this time. They're going to look at Schupp and throw it forward, and another turnover. That was not how Daniel Mass drew up the first 2 possessions after halftime, I'm fairly sure. Turnaround jumper falls off the rim. It's knocked out of bounds by... I thought that was knocked out of bounds by Colin Roberson, but the officials say it'll stay with Bethany. Or stay with Wawasee, I'm sorry. It was Bethany on this half of the floor for the first 2 periods. There's Roberson driving to the goal and laying it in, and goodness, it's hard to imagine a worse start to the third quarter than a couple of turnovers and a Wawasee bucket for the Bruins. Hostetler comes over to the right wing. There's another turnover. That's 3 in 33 seconds. Schleybaugh knocks the ball out into the pad at the end of the floor. It's going to stay with Wawasee on the deflection, and the Bruins need a stop pretty badly here, not to say nothing of a score on the other end. Pass comes into the right side wing. They're going to drive into the free throw circle, and Schupp is called for not giving enough ground to the defender or to the offensive player, Maddox Everingham. That's Schupp's first personal foul, team foul number 1. Bruins only had 3 in the first half. 3 fouls in the first half, 2 of them on Justin Hostetler. Inbound pass comes in for Wawasee. Felger shoots over Carter Miller and misses the shot, gets in for his own rebound, turns around, goes back up, and rolls it in. I thought it was going to be short off the iron the first time, but it just spun over the rim and fell in. Wawasee on a 4-0 run to start the third quarter, and they have doubled their lead to 8. Here is Schupp giving the ball to Schleybaugh. Now Reinhardt into the corner to Miller. Reinhardt goes right side wing, skips to Schleybaugh in the left side corner. Baseline drive back out to Hostetler at the elbow. Reinhardt right side wing, thought about a 3. Instead he skips it back to Schleybaugh on the left. Jaden dribbles once and gives it to Hostetler in the free throw circle. Justin puts the ball down, almost has it knocked away, gets it back in the free throw lane. Reinhardt top of the circle over to Carter Miller. Miller drives the lane, goes up with the right hand on the reverse layup, and it falls off. See, that's exactly what I thought the last shot from Felgert was going to do. And now, on the other end of the floor, a 3-point shot for Miles Everingham. And I don't want to coach Daniel Mask's team for him, but he's getting real close to needing a timeout as Bethany trails by its largest margin of the game at 33-22. 6:12 to go, third quarter. Going to the left side, the Bruins get the ball to Carter Miller. This is Hostetler back to Miller. Reinhardt left side wing. Schleybaugh goes underneath to Schupp, who just barely gets to it before the ball would head it out the door. This is Hostetler at the free throw line on a jumper. Count the basket, and he will go to the free throw line. Second foul on Colin Roberson as Hostetler goes up to 6 points for the game. Gets the Bruins back within 9, 33-24. And Hostetler, a 58% shooter on the year, will miss the free throw off the front end. Rebound is tapped to Reinhardt. Schupp's got it out between the rings. Reinhardt, left side corner, 3, got it! 5-point possession for the Bruins. That was big in a big way. Next week on Tautology Club, we'll go over how 2 is equal to 2. 33-27. Wawasee with a 6-point lead, but that is down from 11 just a moment ago. Holding at the left side of the circle is Roberson. They work it over to the right side wing as one of the Everinghams, that's Miles, holds it over there. He's defended loosely by Reinhardt. Bethany going to need to force the action and create some more possessions in this game as they look to come back. Running into his own screener is Maddox Everingham. He got the ball, though, and gives it over to Miles. This is Felger on the right side wing. Felger drives down the lane, shoots over his defender, and misses off the back of the iron. Rebound to Reinhardt. Reinhardt just about has the ball taken away. Instead, he gets it back behind him to Schleybaugh. And now Reinhardt goes into the free throw circle for Justin Hostetler. Hostetler has the ball knocked away. It's picked up by Everingham for Wawasee. Zebarth spins into the lane, shoots. His shot circumnavigates the rim and falls. Zebarth with 14 for Wawasee, and that 6-point lead is back to 8. They're pressuring Schleybaugh as he comes up the floor, zigzagging into the forecourt. Switchbacking was the term I was looking for. There's another Bruin turnover, and a fast break pass up ahead to Roberson. He's blocked by Hostetler, who had to give that foul to stop the easy layup, but it's going to be Hostetler's third. And it will send Roberson to the foul line for 2 shots, as Wawasee's 6-point lead could go back up to double figures with both of these makes. Got the Bruins unofficially with 5 turnovers in the last 3.5 minutes. And those of you who have been following this team all year know that the first thing to go is the ball handling. If you were around for the scrimmage, before the season had even opened, when they brought the Benton Bucks in here and played, that was literally my first bit of analysis that night. Roberson hits a couple of free throws. They're going to bring Darius Lewis back into the game for Wawasee as Roberson departs. James Lind in for Justin Hostetler for the Bruins. Bethany narrowly avoids another turnover as Reinhardt threw the inbound pass and then ran back into the line of fire. Shot back out to Schleybaugh, and that will be a 6th turnover. Still just a 10-point margin, though, and it's worth noting that Bethany used a 5-point run to cut it back to 6. All it takes is a score, a stop, and a score. Although at the moment they're not getting either one of those things. Reinhardt defending as Wawasee drives baseline. Shot is up and good from Miles Everingham. He's into double figures with 11 points. Wawasee is up to a 12-point lead, and timeout is taken by Bethany with 3:56 to go in the third. And go ahead and circle that 6-0 Wawasee run, because if this game ends with a margin like this, that's going to be where the Warriors clamped down and didn't let a Bethany mini run, a 5-point possession, turn into a bigger run. Full timeout gives you a chance to remember that we are back in action on Thursday when Bethany, at the very least, they're going to look to rebound from this performance, even if they come back and win, when they play Elkhart Christian. That is a JV game at 6 o'clock, varsity game following about 7:30, right here on BruinsVision. Then on Friday, the Bruins go over to Hamlet, where brevity is the soul of wit, something we know absolutely nothing about here on BruinsVision. And they take on Oregon Davis. Those two schools are both actually in Class 1A, which Wawasee is not, here with a 12-point lead and 3:56 to go. That is also a 6 o'clock Eastern tip-off time on Friday as Bethany goes to Oregon Davis. That's 5 o'clock Central, but it is still the tip-off time as the Bruins take on the Bobcats over in Stark County. I believe there are 4 public school districts in Stark County, and only one of them is playing the Bruins on Friday evening. Off the make, it's Bethany basketball. Schleybaugh takes the inbound pass from Reinhardt. He gives it to Chupp, who will bring it up the floor. And the thing we've talked about a couple of times tonight is that as well as Wawasee can hold the basketball, Bethany really going to need to force the action if they want to come back in this game. Carter Miller with a 3. He's got 6 tonight, so the Bruins get up to 30. Bethany has done a good job once they've gotten down double figures of clamping down and not going down by more, but they're still, only down, or they're still down 9 at this point, which is as close as you can get to double figures without being in it. Here's Felger over on the left side wing, defended by Carter Miller. Pass comes back to the top of the circle. Now they go right side wing, and they'll work from there. Back top of the key, Everingham, holding, again defended by Reinhardt. 3:08 to go in the third quarter. Reinhardt probably 8 feet away from the ball, no 5-second count going. Everingham drives down the lane, kicking to the corner for a 3-point try. That's too short. Lynn got his hand on the ball, and it's going to be out of bounds off the Bruins. I thought that was the right call, as it happened right in front of our broadcast position, but Lynn was hoping he could knock that off the Wawasee player and get that going the Bruins' direction. Inbound pass comes into Lewis, and he can't handle it, as Lynn did a good job of harassing him to make sure that Lynn didn't get the clean entry pass. I think Lynn just missed the high five running up the floor to Carter Miller, but that part doesn't go on the score sheet. So a Wawasee turnover gives the ball back to the Bruins. They trail by 3 possessions if they're all threes. Schleybaugh comes across the timeline, got himself trapped in the corner, and gave it to Miller. Here's Chupp along the baseline. He's double-teamed, working underneath, spins and goes over the defender, misses the shot, gets his own rebound. He was held from behind by Lewis, and I think there will be some discussion about whether that's a flagrant foul. I don't think it was one, but it was enough of a non-basketball move to be worth the conversation. Darius Lewis picks up his first personal, team foul number 3 on Wawasee. We've also got one in the quarter on Roberson and on Everingham, as Chupp rolls in the free throw, as you'd expect. Chupp on the season, an 88% free throw shooter. He's 45 for 51, and of course, he makes the second right after I say that, because he is so good that the announcer jinx doesn't apply to him or something. I just made that up. The part about him being so good the announcer jinx doesn't apply, not the part about his free throw numbers. Those are legitimate. Right side wing, Wawasee's got the basketball. They drive around Reinhardt, go into the lane, back out to Felger. He gets around Miller, runs into Lind, and we're going to get a blocking foul called by the center official who was 30 feet away from the play. That'll be a foul on Lind, his first personal, team foul number 3. It's going to send Felgert to the free throw line, it's still a chance to score, although it's probably a better expected value for the Bruins than if he had just had an uncontested layup. Felgert now with 6 points. Wawasee's lead is 8. But one thing this does is it will end the possession for Wawasee and put the ball back in the Bruins' court. Second free throw for Felgert, back iron no good. Reinhardt on the rebound, so it's an 8-point margin as Bethany comes up the floor. Chupp up ahead to Miller in the left side corner. Back out to Reinhardt, who drives lane. He goes left side corner, Carter Miller, 3, good, rattling home. Miller gets the Bruins back within 5, 40-35, 2:05 to go third quarter. Once again, this is a 6-1 Bruin run that is, we saw them get to this point earlier in the quarter, and Wawasee took them back to the woodshed for a couple of minutes. They're going to get either Miller or Reinhardt for reaching in on Felger. They were both doing it. It's a question of which one they'll call the foul on. Okay, they got Lind called for the foul, his second. As Roberson will check in, and so does Hostetler. 1:50 to go, third quarter, fresh possession for Wawasee. Fourth foul on the Bruins gives them 2 to burn before the Warriors go to the line. Pass comes into the left side corner. Zebarth drives lane, runs into Chupp. Layup rolls off, no good. Reinhardt gets the rebound. Schleybaugh up ahead to Miller. His pass is going to be deflected and then picked up off the floor by Wawasee, which gives the Bruins 7 turnovers in the third quarter. And in a 2-possession game, I'm telling you, it only takes 2 of those possessions. Tie the game or maybe take the lead. Driving from the left side wing, here's Everingham. He backs it out as Reinhardt picks him up. Gets the screen from Roberson. Now he backs it out. Bounce pass goes to his twin brother Maddox on the left side wing. Maddox pulls up top of the circle. They thought about a 3-point shot from the right slot, but it would have had to go over Reinhardt, who's pretty long, 6'3", and reaching up with his left hand. Crossover gets around Reinhardt. They go down baseline. Miss the shot off back iron. In for the rebound. Felger as Wawasee keeps it alive with a minute to go in the quarter. Ball comes back out to Maddox Everingham. Everingham works to his right. Here's a three-point try on the way from Miles. That one misses left. Schleybaugh gets a hand on the rebound, and he is fouled on the reach-in because they weren't able to tie him up. Colin Zebarth picks up his second personal, team's fourth, as Bontrager's going to check in for James Lind. That'll move Reinhardt down to inbound the ball on this play as Bethany gets a fresh possession with just under 50 seconds to go in the quarter. Miller triggers the inbound pass. Chupp's going to walk it up the floor. He gets the ball across the timeline with 3 seconds to spare. Bruins would love to not give the ball back to Wawasee this quarter if they can. Chupp worked himself over into the corner on the right side with 30 seconds to go. He's picked up by Felger. 5-second count. Not in action yet because he's not close enough to make it start. Chupp goes down to the wing, gives the ball to Miller with 21 seconds left. Miller drives right side off a double screen, goes baseline, throws it into the corner. Chupp had to save it, just about stepped out of bounds. Goes up with the shot, gets the basket to go, and he is fouled. Chupp into double figures. He's got 10 tonight. Zebarth picks up his third personal foul, and now how big is the fact that the Bruins were able to keep the ball in play and not turn it over there when they threw it into the corner. As the Bruins are getting a little bit of a fire drill here, trying to get people in the right places. Wawasee went to the bench in that process as well. Chupp 2 for 2 tonight at the line. 3 for 3. Wawasee by 2, 40-38. Wawasee will get the ball up the floor with 9 seconds to go here. Running into a double team is Everingham. He goes back out. Felger hoists a three way earlier than he needed to. Rebound goes to Lind, who will get it forward to Carter Miller, and he doesn't even make the catch, let alone turn around and get a shot off before the third quarter concludes. But the Bruins score 16 points in the third quarter. They hold Wawasee to 14. I guess it was a 2-point game at halftime. And it is 40-38 Wawasee. As I just noticed, I've been writing in the wrong place in my scorebook because all of you care about that. It'll be Wawasee ball to start the fourth quarter, but the Bruins are a stop and a score from getting right back in this thing. I mean, they're right back in it right now. They're a stop and score away from tying the game. Tyson Chupp leading the Bruins right now. He's got 11. Carter Miller's got 9. Justin Hostetler with 6 and Jacoby Reinhardt with 7. Then Jesse Bontrager's got 3. James Lind has 2. That's your scoring for the Bruins. Colin Zebarth with 14 for Wawasee. Miles Everingham's got 11. Warriors will get the ball to start the fourth quarter. They come in the traveling black uniforms with green numerals that don't provide nearly enough contrast against those black uniforms. Gold trim helps a little, but not a whole lot. As the ball comes over to the right side wing, they go into the corner. Wawasee can slow this game down like nobody's business, so not falling behind by more than you have to would be a plus for the Bruins, and they just left Miles Everingham wide open to dial long distance. 43-38. As Chupp gives the ball to Schleybaugh, who will walk it across the timeline. 7:28 to go, fourth quarter. Chupp is out between the circles. He goes down to the free throw circle, works to his right. Schleybaugh thought about a wing three. Hostetler in the free throw circle, back out to Chupp. Chupp for 3. Got it! That is such a pretty three-point stroke, so few moving parts. Bruins get back within 2. Chupp, incidentally, just tied Saul Brenneman for 8th place on Bethany's career scoring list. Into the lane, here's Zebarth. Three-pointer, Roberson right wing off back iron. In for the rebound, Felger outreaches Miller, which he should do. He's about 3 inches taller than the Bruin guard. Felger's out on the wing, being defended by Schleybaugh. Warriors lead by 2 with 6:48 to go in the fourth quarter. Pass comes over to the left side wing. Stepping inside the arc is Maddox Everingham. He backs it back out. Chupp picks him up on defense with 6:40 to go. A one-possession game, so something like a steal and a run-out would tie it. On the left side wing, they get the ball into Felger, and Schleybaugh takes it away. Now they pass it to Miller, and Miller was not looking for it. Turnover number 8 of the second half for the Bruins. Wawasee doesn't get the rebound as that one goes to the goal, and it will count. None of that happens if the Bruins don't not look for the basketball right after their steal. 45-41 as the basket counted. Hostetler picks his 4th personal up. James Lynn's going to have to get some big minutes in the game here as Hostetler picks up his 4th foul with 6:21 to go. Roberson's got 8 points after the make. His free throw here is good. Should be 46-41. I don't think they got that point up on that bucket up on the scoreboard. Reinhardt drives to his right for the Bruins. He is fouled. Now they've got 46-41. Colin Roberson picks up his 3rd personal. So a fresh possession here for the Bruins, but they are outmanned in the post with Hostetler on the bench in foul trouble. Miller triggers the inbound. He looks into Reinhardt. This is Chupp on the right side wing. He thought about going up for the 3. Good thing he didn't, because if he had, he would have come back down and traveled. Lynn's got ball right side wing. He's got to get rid of it. Reinhardt in the corner. Thought about rising for the 3. Thinks better of it. Comes back to his triple threat stance. Dribbles inside the arc. Miller shuffles to Chupp left side wing. Tyson backs it out. Dribbles the ball off his left quad. Over to Schleybaugh in the corner. Baseline drive, and a skip out is deflected. Miller runs it down, and it's a good thing it's deflected, or it would have sailed into the backcourt. Chupp on the left side wing, dribbles with the left hand, directs traffic with the right, goes baseline, cuts back out, toward the block, turns, fires, scores. Chupp with 16 points. Bruins within 3, 46-43. Bethany is going to call a timeout here with 5:36 to go in the 4th quarter. It's got to be a full timeout. That's all they've got left. So the Bruins are down to 1 timeout to go the rest of the way. There is no 2-minute warning, as I somehow, or for some reason, thought about mentioning. But, of course, they will get the benefit of the timeout anytime Wawasee stops the clock. Warriors still have all 5 of their timeouts. Bethany just can't decide when Wawasee is going to use its timeouts. Once again, the Bruins are back within a 1-possession game. It's the 3rd time it's been that way in the second half. Wawasee has scored on its next 2 trips down the floor in both cases. Also want to mention that last bucket gives Chupp 861 points for his career. That passes Saul Brenneman for number 8 in program history. He is now chasing Larry Krylo, number 7, at 906. So it'll be Wawasee ball out of the timeouts as the Warriors will have the baseline to themselves off the made basket. But again, the Bruins need a stop before they can think about tying the game. Coming into the forecourt is Everingham. He's out between the circles. Possession started at 5:36 if you're scoring along at home. Everingham's got the ball back. They've run 20 seconds off the clock and have barely come inside the volleyball 10-foot line. Schleybaugh is out, but not close enough to start the 5-second count. Everingham backs up toward the timeline. Works to his left around Schleybaugh. Throws the ball right side. Chupp on defense out there. Roberson steps outside, gives it to Felger. This is Zebarth on the left side wing. He'd had 12 in the first quarter, 4 since that. 16 for him. Ties Chupp for the game high. Jumper on the way for M. Everingham, no good. Roberson on the rebound. Slides into the lane. Misses the shot that rolls around. Reinhardt pulls it away and then loses it. Lind picks up the loose ball and he's fouled. Numerical counterpart on numerical counterpart violence. Peyton Felgert picks up his 3rd personal, first since the first quarter. And that is Wawasee's 7th foul of the quarter. 7th foul of the half, and it will put Lind on the line for 1 in the bonus. Talked about James being primarily a defensive force. I was going to say that he is For some reason, my stat sheet lists him as 1 for 3, which is 0% from the free throw line. He missed the free throw off to the right. Reinhardt gets the rebound. Shupp got the ball back right of the circle. Here's Schleybaugh left side wing. Reinhardt left side elbow. Hand off to Shupp with 4:30 to go in regulation. Reinhardt with 7 points tonight. Schleybaugh hasn't scored. Long three from Shupp. Missed off left iron. Rebound saved by Lind. Back out to Shupp, who's going to drive. Left side corner. That's Lind back to Shupp with 4:17 to go. On the right side wing, Reinhardt thought about the three. Pump fake, drove around his man, and rattled out the shot. I thought it was just inside the far iron. It was a little bit stronger than that. So the Bruins got the stop they needed. They couldn't convert on the other end. 4 minutes to go in regulation time. Wawasee 46, Bethany 43, and there's a steal for Schleybaugh. He's going to back it out, bring it into the forecourt. Reinhardt's got it right side corner. Into the lane, reverse layup, good. There was contact after the play. Probably a good no call, but both teams thought there was a foul on the other team. 46-45. Wawasee with the basketball. 3:34 to go in regulation. Bruins are already in the bonus if Wawasee fouls. Bethany has one foul to give before Wawasee would go to the line. 3:24 to go. Pass comes outside here to Zebarth. Zebarth crosses over left side, goes baseline around Reinhardt. Tries to skip it into the right side corner. It's picked off by Shupp. Shupp out ahead to Miller. Goes baseline. Right side corner, Reinhardt, three for the lead, short. Rebound, James Lind on offense. Back to Reinhardt in the corner. Here's Carter Miller back to Schleybaugh, top of the circle. Jaden drives lane, stops at the elbow. Back out to Carter Miller, 3 minutes to go. Reinhardt in the corner, thought about that very same three he had a moment ago. Schleybaugh driving left side wing, goes down to the baseline. Miller back out to Shupp, 2:49 remaining. And we're going to get a foul called on Wawasee. Maddox Everingham picks up his first. Team foul number 8. That's going to send Shupp to the line for 1 and bonus. As Justin Hostetler checks back in for the Bruins. So Lind goes to the bench. Darius Lewis in for Roberson on the Wawasee side of the ledger. Shupp at the line, off to the left with the first free throw. Rebound tipped back up in the air and taken by Wawasee. Shupp was about the best Bruin you had felt comfortable with having at the line, and he missed the front end of a 1-and-1 that would have tied the game and potentially given them the lead. Felger drives right side wing, had an open path to the goal. Here's a three-point try that's an air ball, kept alive by Zebarth, and the foul is given by Jaden Schleybaugh to try to take it away. He stops the clock in the process. Team foul number 6 on the Bruins. So we'll shoot on every defensive foul the rest of the way. Ball comes in for Wawasee off the sideline inbound. Handoff goes to Everingham, and Shupp fouled him behind the play. Shupp second, team 7th. That's going to send Miles Everingham to the line for 1 and bonus. Everingham with 14 points, and I think Shupp got caught on an in-between spot there. If he could have jumped the pass, that's great. If he could have gotten the steal, that's great. But when you can't get either, you can't just stand there and reach, or you send him to the line. First free throw from Everingham up and good. 15 points for the 6'1 sophomore tonight. 47-45, Warriors by 2. Second free throw from Everingham, good. So 5 for him in the fourth quarter tonight. He's got 16. Bruins trail by 3. They have never led in this game. Miller with the handoff to Shupp, high between the circles. Bounce pass underneath goes to Reinhardt. Reinhardt turns into the double team. He was fouled on the way up. If that is on Felger, it is his 4th. At any rate, though, it's going to send Reinhardt to the line. No, it is not on Felger. It is on Darius Lewis. His second. At any rate, though, team's 9th, and Reinhardt, who comes into the ball game a 74% shooter, has 1 in bonus. First free throw is good. .209 left in regulation. It's a 1-possession game. And Reinhardt's going to try to cut this deficit in half. Second free throw, good. He left it short. It actually went in off the glass. 48-47, Wawasee by a point. 2:02 in regulation. Over to the left side, this is Zebarth, who was hot first quarter and cooled off since. He's defended by Schleybaugh. Steps back between the circles. Pass to the right side wing, and Darius Lewis. Lewis is holding out there, defended by Hostetler. Almost looks like they're ISOing him on the right side. No, they've got somebody over there in the corner. Timeout called by John Everingham on the Wawasee bench. This will be a 30-second timeout. Of course, on our second time out of the quarter, we want to remind you that the Bruin girls are at home all season long here on BruinsVision. That part of the season has ended, but they'll be in sectional action on Friday, February 3rd at Blackhawk Christian. That is a 6 o'clock tip-off, first of 2 games. Elkhart Christian will take on the winner of Lakewood Park Christian and Hamilton in the second game, and the 2 winners will meet Saturday in the championship. So what I'm saying is we encourage you, if you can, to go support the Bruins or your favorite team on Sectional Friday for the girls next week. If you can't make it, of course, there are all sorts of methods for following along online. It'll be a Wawasee basketball in the forecourt on the sideline out of the timeout. James Lind is into the game for Bethany as trying to see who they took out. Oh, they took out Hostetler on a defensive possession as he plays with 4. Ball comes into the backcourt. It's walked back across by Zebarth. He's defended by Schleybaugh. Crosses over to the left side. Here's Everingham on the left side wing, defended by Reinhardt. Everingham comes back to the top of the circle over to the right side with 1:28 to go. Drive into the lane, stepping back out Zebarth. Everingham thought about the parking lot, left wing 3. Everingham's picked up by Reinhardt. He's got the most. Ham 34 with the basketball. As we come to 1:12 to go in regulation. Wawasee is very content to hold because as long as they have the ball, Bethany can't score. Reinhardt reached for the ball. Pass came into the lane to Zebarth. Zebarth back out to the right side wing. Both teams are in the bonus if there's a foul here. We're under a minute to go. The timeout was taken at 1:44. Zebarth goes over to the back between the circles, and I think Reinhardt's just going to give the foul to stop the clock. 55 seconds ran off the game clock between that timeout and the foul. Reinhardt picks up his first personal, team foul number 8. See, this is why I think we're doing harm to the basketball development of our young people by not having a shot clock in Indiana, because I don't see what passing the ball around the perimeter actually accomplishes. In terms of, it's a game that thrives on action, and that's making your living with inaction. 1-1 for Everingham. First free throw is good. He's 2 for 2 at the stripe. Those were their last 2 points. Of course, even if the second free throw is good, it's a 3-point game. Second free throw for Everingham, off back iron, no good. Reinhardt's got the board. Pass comes over to Chupp, who will give it to Schleybaugh. Bruins come into the forecourt. They've got 1 timeout available to them with 41 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Miller with the handoff to Chupp. Chupp with the entry pass to Reinhardt. Reinhardt backing down Felgert, underneath to Hostetler. Puts the ball on the floor, kicks it to Schleybaugh. Chupp, game-tying 3, got it! Chupp with 19 tonight. I said that was a game-tying 3. Maddox Everingham actually missed the shot on the other end, the second free throw on the other end, so it is a go-ahead three-pointer. Timeout is taken with 22 3/10 seconds to go. That is a Bethany timeout, which will let them set their defense and also let Wawasee draw something up. The Bruins are out of timeouts. So Wawasee's got 4 timeouts left. They've got some of everything, 3 fulls and a 30. Bethany can foul and send Wawasee to the line for 1 in bonus. If Wawasee fouls Bethany, it's a 2-shot foul. Chupp leading all scorers with 19 points. We are getting to the point where the computer rankings are going to say this was not a bad loss for either team, but both of these teams think they should have won it. Out of the timeout, Wawasee's got the full baseline to run. Bruins have Reinhardt, Miller, Schlabach, Hostetler, and Schupp on the floor. Your starting five for what could be the last possession of regulation. If Wawasee scores, the clock's going to keep running and Bethany doesn't have a timeout. Reinhardt defends as Everingham comes into the forecourt. Handoff, Zeeburn. Stops and pops on the elbow. Lind knocked the ball loose. It's run down by Everingham, and we've got a timeout called by Wawasee. 9 7/10 to go. They're going to have it over here on the left side sideline. Full timeout. That whistle was a heart-in-mouth moment for the Bruins because they came real close to fouling on that loose ball. Alternating arrow gives the ball to Bethany if there's a tie-up, so a tie-up is as good as a steal. Wawasee's got 3 timeouts left, and I'm sure they'd look to prevent that, though. Bethany does not have any timeouts left, so they cannot call timeout. I mean, as Chris Weber made famous, they could. That would be a bad idea. There's the warning horn, so Wawasee will throw it in 9 7/10 seconds away from some sort of decision relating to this game. For Wawasee, it's the Everingham twins, Miles, number 12, Maddox Everingham, number 34. Number 43 is Darius Lewis. Number 22, Peyton Felgert. And number 10 is Colin Zeebarth. Miles Everingham triggers the inbound pass. Comes into Zeebarth, top of the circle. He goes around Schlabach, drives to the goal, layup, no good. Lewis has the rebound, stuffed by Reinhardt. Rolling around on the floor. Lynn's got it, and he's fouled with 1 3/10 to go. I'd like to give half a rebound to Reinhardt and half a rebound to James Lind. Now we're going to have discussion about what should have happened, and it's going to be a foul. I think there was some conversation about was there a tie-up or a Wawasee timeout. Darius Lewis picks up the foul, and Lind is going to go to the line. He can't completely salt this one away. He will have 2 shots. If he makes them both, it would take a Wawasee 3 to win the game, or to tie the game. Even if he misses both, they still have to go the length of the floor in 1.3 seconds. Carter Miller's back playing free safety. Lynn's first free throw off to the right, no good. Miles Everingham was in the lane trying to rebound that shot. It was the front end of a 2-shot foul. There was no rebound to be had, and they're going to tell John Everingham to back up off the court. Second free throw from Lind is up off the iron to the right. Rebound was grabbed by Lind. There was an inadvertent whistle as they granted a timeout to Wawasee. But I thought Lind had the basketball. We're going to wait and see how this plays out. My sense is that should be an inadvertent whistle, and it should be Bethany's ball on the sideline, either because Lind had the ball or they have to go to the alternating arrow. We have a discussion going on between the officials right at midcourt. Let's see what happened. Because the trail official down here blew for time because John Everingham was calling timeout. Let's see what the ruling to the information of the table is. I think they're going to put some time back on the clock when the inadvertent whistle happened. We took the free throws at 1.3 seconds. They're going to put 9/10 of a second back on the clock. It's going to be Bethany basketball. Full timeout Wawasee. Of all the ways that possession could have ended, I didn't think that was one of them. So we still haven't established whose ball it is. My first guess would be that they called an inadvertent whistle as the Warriors are going to put in Colin Roberson. You've got time basically to catch and shoot if you're Wawasee. For my money, James Lind had that rebound, and if anything, there should have been a foul, as they're going to put Reinhardt, the 6'3" sophomore with the long arms, up on the inbounder and play 4-on-4 the rest of the way. We're going to say that Wawasee had the ball at some point in that rebound. I just did not see that. Triggering the inbound pass, Miles Everingham. They've got to catch the ball. They've got to get the shot off in less than a second. It's got to go in. Everingham has Reinhardt up in his grill on defense. Timeout, Wawasee. This is a 30-second timeout with 9/10 of a second left. I think we've established most of the preliminaries of this game. Wawasee has now taken 3 timeouts in the last 8.9 seconds. And it bears repeating, quite frankly, that regardless of how this last less than a second plays out, I can't believe Bethany is in this game after the third quarter. The start they had of the third quarter offensively, 7 turnovers in about 5 minutes. Wawasee with 1 timeout left. That's the signal to the bench. They switch the inbounder. Maddox Everingham will take it out, not Miles. Hostetler's in the game on defense. 3 men lined up near the half-court line on the left side. Reinhardt again defending the inbound. They're going to baseball pass it in. The ball is caught. 3-point heave is no good from Miles Everingham. The Bruins have walked through the valley of the shadow of death and come out on top for the first time ever. Bethany Christian 50, Wawasee 49. Bruins move to 11-4 on the season. Wawasee falls to 5-10. And we'll take a look at our unofficial final scoring. The ball came in cleanly to Everingham, just right around the midcourt stripe. He turned and shot, and it missed off to the left. Although I thought that drama could have been prevented if James Lind had been credited with that last rebound of his own free throw. Good job from James to get in there on defense and make that play not an easy defensive rebound, but what would you expect from James besides good effort? For the Bruins, 6 points for Justin Hostetler, 11 for Jacoby Reinhardt, 2 for James Lind, 3 for Jesse Bontrager, 9 for Carter Miller, and 19 for Tyson Chupp, who's at 864 in his career at the end of play tonight. For Wawasee, we have more math than I want to do right now. Colin Robertson with 9 points, Maddox Everingham with 3, Peyton Felgert with 6. Then we've got 17 for Miles Everingham and 14 for Colin Zebarth. I hope all those numbers add up. If they didn't, we will refund whatever you paid to access this broadcast, which we're offering for free. For the Bruins, 12 points in the first quarter, 10 in the second, 16 in the third. Somehow the quarter in which they turned the ball over 7 times was the one with their highest scoring output of the night, and 12 points in the fourth for a total of 50. On the Wawasee side of the ledger, 17 points in the first quarter, 9 in the second, 14 in the third, and 9 in the fourth, a total of 49. Now that the buzzer has sounded, you can pass in the songbooks as the sands of time have slipped through the hourglass, and the Bruins move to 11-4 with a 50-49 win over the Warriors of Wawasee High School. This copyrighted telecast has been brought to you by the authority of Bethany Christian Schools, Incorporated. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball. The Intercontinental Executive Producer of BruinsVision and our Chief Swahili Officer is Tyson Miller. Bethany's Head of School, Dr. Tim Lehman. The Principal is Hank Willems. Gary Chupp is the Athletic Director. Kevin Miller is the Assistant Athletic Director. Kyle Stocksdale, the Director of Technology. Jeff Vardaman is the Nurse and in charge of the First Aid and emergency response in case things go wrong on game day, as we saw on Monday Night Football a month or so ago. The emergency backup table crews, Stella Wilson, Milo Yoder, and Addison Yoder. And as the 118th U.S. Congress convenes, we remind you that the reason flamingos stand on one leg is if they didn't stand on either leg, they would fall over. That concludes our coverage of this evening's festivities. Bethany is back in action in less than 48 hours as the Bruins host Elkhart Christian on Thursday night in an HPC showdown. We'll have the JV pregame coming your way at 5:57, Varsity following around 7:15 on BruinsVision.net. Of course, it's January. Who knows what's going to happen with this winter storm tomorrow? Stay tuned to BethanyCS.net. Follow Bethany_Bruins on Twitter for the latest updates if schedule changes are necessary. Now, for our entire Bruins Vision crew, I'm Tony Miller saying thanks for spending part of your evening with us. Good night, good luck, and don't run with scissors.